Hi, it's me, Wanda, the redhead Okie who likes to talk, back again. And this week I'm going to talk about the audiobooks that I listened to in the month of June. Yes, I know I am way behind, but I had health issues. I was quite busy at work, so it was a little hard to get. Anyway, I was having some problems, and then plus I was setting up my new environment to record my videos. So hopefully, this will be much better going forward. We hope. Anyway, so let's get started. For June, I started with City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. This is a young adult novel. It's about shadow hunters. I'm not entirely sure what these things are supposed to be. Are supposed to be vampires. She's a human. She finds out her father was this bad guy, and this guy that came to rescue her might be her half brother, and they're in love, and they were making out, and then she found out about I didn't care for it too much, so I probably won't read any more in this series. Um, it's just it wasn't my cup of tea. I'm not. The writing was okay for the type of book that it is. If you like that kind of thing, check it out. You may like it. I don't know. It just simply wasn't for me. So the next book was The Vanishing by Jane Ann Krentz. Oh, sorry. I forgot to show you the picture. I've got City of Bones and the Van. Ooh, that's come out. There we go. Let's turn it a little bit so there's not so much glare on it. And there's The Vanishing by Jane Ann Krentz. That's a little bit of a supernatural mystery. There's this, well, not really, there's aliens, artifacts thing. I don't know. I used to be a big fan of Jane Ann Krantz, but her books are not terribly original. She just basically is writing the same characters over and over again, and it's not that. I mean, her writing is fine. It's real simple read. It's real easy to read. It's mildly entertaining if you just want an afternoon where you don't have to think about anything and you don't find a little silliness. And it always has a love story. She always includes a love story in her little mysteries. This is the start of a series. I don't know if I will be continuing with this or not. I've really gone past Jane and Krantz. I'm not really reading her so much anymore. So, but it was entertaining, if you like that kind of thing. My next one is The Fabulous Riverboat by Philip Jose Farmer or Philip Josie Farmer. Come to find out, it's not Jose. He just took it on as Jose because he didn't he didn't want to be called Josie. This is the cover. I really like this series, the Riverworld series, because what it is um, so these people wake up and they're coming up out of this river and they crawl up on the bank and they find out that they are in their 25-year-old body again. They are naked. They are around a bunch of people they don't know. Because basically what it is that everyone on Earth that died is resurrected on the Riverworld planet and is resurrected as a 20 in their 25-year-old body, and you can't die. You if you do die on Riverworld, you just wake up again coming out of the river naked, 25, still 25 years old. You don't age, you don't do anything. So this book, the main character is Mark Twain, Samuel Clemens. I don't really care for this version of Samuel Clemens. He's kind of a whiny. He whines a lot. He cries a lot. He throws a lot of fits. He is. This is a lot about. There's like racial stuff. There's politics. They're trying to build. He wants to build a riverboat because he wants to try to find the headwaters of the river because these aliens have visited him and told him that he needs to do that so he can find out what's going on and why they've all been resurrected on this world. And it's it's a great concept. The first one I really liked. I have read others in this series. it just the Samuel Clemens as a character in this book just really got on my nerves. I wanted to smack him because he was whining and crying every time things wouldn't go his way. He'd throw himself on the ground and be bawling his eyes out. And it's like, dude, really, you're a grown man. I don't know you're in a 25-year-old body, but you live to be what, 90 or something. So why are you acting like a 5-year-old child? That made no sense to me, and I was just rather disappointed through the whole thing. um, uh, King John from medieval England was there, and he was being a douchebag, and which I guess I shouldn't say that. He was being a bit of a jerk, and as his reputation was, and I don't know. It just the politics of it. There was this whole city of black people that were like, we're not going to be slaves no more, and we're going to have our own city. We're going to be free, and we don't trust any white people. And there was all this stuff going on, and it wasn't that great. But check out the first book in the series. I will be reading the next one because it's going to have a different set of characters, and we'll see if the next one is any good. This set of characters I just simply didn't care for. Now, the two audiobooks that I listened to in June that I really liked. The first one, World War Z. Now, I'd listened to World War Z before years and years ago, probably more than 10 years ago. And this is the full version with the full cast. Um, and the narration, you just can't beat it. It was so good. All these different actors took on different roles in this. The story is great. I mean, it's a zombies, but it I really really liked the way this book was set up. So first, it's the beginning of the zombie plague, how they first comes out, and everybody's kind of survival stories about how, because it's taken place. The story is, there's a documentarian that's going around and interviewing people and their experiences in World War Z. And so he's interviewing all these different people about what they did and how they survived and all these different things. And he goes through, and it's the beginning. It's The book is kind of set up in three parts. There's the beginning, how they survived, how they got out, then the actual fighting when they were starting to rally and set up settlements and get their government back together, from the shock of everything falling. And then it was the cleanup and the rebuild. So he interviewed politicians, he interviewed military, he interviewed just people that walked out. He interviewed doctors, and it's really 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 good. It was so good. I liked it so much. Um, the We don't really get a reason why, other than it's this maybe it's just they unearthed something they weren't supposed to unearth in this on this old city, is the cause of the zombies. I don't know. It doesn't really say. The movie, if you like, it was okay, but it wasn't the book. The book was so 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 good. Definitely either read or listen to the book. Preferably listen, because the interview style works so well for this audiobook narration. How that part works. It's just so good. So I definitely recommend World War Z. It's so good. And the other one that I read that I really, really got into, and I'm almost ashamed to say, given what's going on in the world today, is A Stranger in a Strange Land by Robert Heinlein. Oh, I'm sorry. World War Z was written by Max Brooks. Um, and he's got a whole series, How to Survive the Zombie Apocalypse, and some graphic novels and stuff too. It's a lot of fun. You check those out. Um, the um, A Stranger in a Strange Land was written by Robert Heinlein. It was published back in the early 60s, I think. Anyway, so the premise is this group of scientists, they get together, and it's all couples, married couples, and they send them to Mars to colonize Mars. All 20 it goes go forward 20 years. They haven't heard anything from these colonists. They don't know what happened to them. They get together another group of people, and they send them out to Mars. and they find out that all the colonists have died except one offspring of one of the couples is still alive, and he's a young boy. He's like 16 years old, I think, and his name is Mike, Valentine Michael. What's his name? Anyway, I can't remember now. So they bring him back to Earth. And he's the Martian boy, the boy from Mars. There's all this political stuff going on because it has to do with claiming rights. So they're saying that he owns Mars because he's the survivor of Mars, but Mars actually has Martians. There's people that live there, and these are the people that the Martians raised Mike, so he speaks their language, and he learned what he needed to learn to survive on Mars, but he comes back and he doesn't know anything about English. He can't speak English. He doesn't know anything about the Earth cultures or, where he was from or anything he knew, but he knew he was from Earth because the Martians had told him he was. And so he has to learn to speak English. So his English is a little funny. And and he's got some strange ideas about things. Um, of course, because he doesn't understand Earth, so they're trying to teach him. And the powers that be decide that it would probably be in their best interest. My camera just slipped. The powers that be decide that it would be in their best interest if Mike was to disappear. So they made plans to disappear him, but this nurse and this reporter, this journalist, they were like, "We're going to save him because this isn't right that they should do this to him." So the journalist is trying to save him one way, and he gets taken by the government and imprisoned. And the nurse grabs Mike and smuggles him out of the hospital and takes him to this lawyer named Jubal E. Hershaw. And when Jubal introduces himself, he's Jubal E. Hershaw, LLB, MD, SCD, Bon Vivant, Gourmet, Sybarite, popular author extraordinaire, and neo pessimist philosopher. That's Jubal. Jubal is the best character in this book. Jubal is hilarious. I don't agree with everything that Jubal has to say, but he's a lawyer and he knows his way around government officials, and he does. He finds his way around and he negotiates for Mike so that Mike can get his inheritance, because he's very wealthy. His parents were wealthy, and he negotiates so Mike can, and he appoints the nurse to help Mike assimilate into Earth culture and teach him, all the things that he needs to know. And but I got to go into Jubal a little bit. So Jubal lives on this compound with all these women, and these women are his helpers, his assistants, his various things. It's yeah, they do all this, and then but he has men too. So and then Mike comes, and they join. But So there's this one guy that works for him, and his name is Duke. And Jubal comes up to him, and Jubal says, "Where the hell have you been?" And Duke says, "Thinking." Jubal says, "Doesn't pay, makes you discontented. Any results?" These are just like what I've been calling Jubalisms. Um, Jubal, aren't you ever ashamed? No, because he's always cracking inappropriate jokes and things to the women. He doesn't like to be called doctor. He says, and when they say, "Oh, I'm sorry," because he tells they call him doctor, and he says, "Don't call me doctor." And he says, and they said, "Oh, I'm very sorry," and he said, "Oh, I'm not offended." But when they began handing out doctorates for comparative folk dancing and advanced fly fishing, I became too stinking proud to use the title. I won't touch watered down whiskey and take no pride in watered down degrees. Call me Jubal. So he's a libertarian. This book strongly influenced all those techno bros out there in San Francisco. This is where the term grok came from. But I'll go into that in a minute. Jubal also, I have another quote from Jubal. "My dear, I used to think I was serving humanity, and I pleasured in the thought. Then I discovered that humanity does not want to be served. On the contrary, it resents any attempt to serve it." He's a bit cynical, Jubal is. Um, and then there was A couple of other little jubilisms. This has more aspects than a cat has hair, and kiss girls all you want to. It beats the hell out of card games. So this is just Jubal being Jubal, the different things that he says and what he thinks about God is Jubal breathed malediction against all gods involved in the follies of the human race. He's not much of a religious type. And because there's this whole religious aspect of this book. So Mike wins his way to not be disappeared by the government, and he the Jill is the nurse that teaches him the way, and they go on this trip, and he becomes a magician because he can make things disappear and stuff, and he can just make them be not there and make so that they're somewhere else, but he's not sure where that is. Nobody seems to know. And so he becomes a magician, but he doesn't really like that. So then he starts his own religion, Mike does, the Man from Mars religion. And it becomes quite a success until it is not. And then the ending's pretty brutal. I won't tell you what happens to Mike at the end. It's not. He, you just have to read it to understand it. It's hard to understand this book to explain it to somebody because it encompasses so many different things, and it's just it's the thing is it's nonsense to me. What I saw in it was a story about an observations on of life on Earth. So from the viewpoint of somebody who isn't wasn't raised here and it was complete alien to them, and they're trying to learn their way. And so there's a lot of Jubal talking to Mike about why humans do the things they do and why they think the things they think and what things mean. And Mike is watching television and he's reading encyclopedias and history books, and then he goes to Jubal and he asks him for explanations. So there's a lot of Jubal explaining things to Mike. And then Mike is, like I said, there's this whole thing section about religion where Mike becomes fascinated with religion and he ends up starting his own church, and it's really bizarre. But I mean, I don't even want to bother trying to explain it because it's hard. It's hard to get into. But anyway, those were my books for June. Finally get my video out, so I'm happy about that. I'll put all book titles and authors' names in the description. Everybody, happy reading, and I'll talk to you later.